Hey everybody, it's Stan, aka Vim Losses, and today we are back with another review for ExcluCollective.com as we continue our look at the Thor Ragnarok Marvel Legends wave. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the female version of Thor. Earlier in the week we looked at the movie version of Thor in this wave, and he was a pretty good figure. So let's see if this version stacks up. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the female Thor. I haven't really followed her in the comics, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But I do know some action figures. So let's take a look and we'll go over the sculpting, the paint, the articulation, the price point, and overall. And let's see how she stands up to the male version. Could this be a battle of the sexists? Alright, taking a look at what comes in the box. She comes with the Hulk Build-A-Figure left leg, as well as his ginormous shoulder gauntlet. I mean, this thing is massive. But again, we'll take a look at these once we look over the Hulk figure at the end of the week. Man, we're getting close. We're getting really, really close. Alright, she also comes with her cape. Now, if you watched the Loki review, you've seen that I was not a big fan of that cape just because of the way that it pegged in. This one, much, much better. Comes with the one single peg, a little bit of shoulder flaps. Figure comes with the one peg hole in the back, fits in perfectly, and it actually stays on. Go figure. Sculpting is really nice on this. Great detail in here. Even on these little silver buckles up here. Now, she comes with Mjolnir. I think that's how you say it. Never good at saying that. But she comes with Thor's hammer, whereas Thor from this wave came with his dual wielding swords. She actually comes with the hammer, so it's nice to see at least we get one figure with the hammer. Pretty good detail on here, but I thought there should be some symbols on here, or on the ends. Can't remember which, but that seems to be missing. But overall, not too bad detail in there. It looks pretty good. Now it fits in her hand like really loose, so it's hard to get. You can see it just wants to kind of flop around in there a little bit, and because the hammer is heavy, it really twists her arm in. So although it's not that heavy, so I think it's just limitations of the figure itself and not the hammer. But that's everything that comes in the box, so let's take a look at the figure. Alright, going over sculpting, she continues in the rather excellent sculpting that we've gotten from this line so far. Now when you first look at her, you kind of go, well, there's not a lot there for looking at sculpt. But once you really kind of dive into it, you do see there's some pretty cool details in here. I mean, we've got these gauntlets, great sculpt on the hair. The helmet looks fantastic. Even this little piece up here on her helmet, the design is not just painted, that's actually sculpted in, so that's a nice little detail. A little sculpt on the lines. There are some plain parts, especially in her legs, but the wraps down here look great. The boots look really cool, or not boots, but shoes with her little wings. So she's got some really nice detail once you start looking, but just looking at it, you go, not a lot there. Now, the one issue I do have with my figure, man, I just can't catch a break. So if you saw the Loki review, you saw that his arm would not come up, and it was just stuck there. On hers, you can actually see there is some kind of issue with the mold here, and the plastic is just sticking out, so her arm can't go all the way in. God, so close. But the overall sculpting is there. Face looks pretty good, what we can see. Obviously not a lot because the helmet covers it up. But all the nice little details in these lines, and in the actual armor itself. You see they have little lines back here. So they did a really good job again on the sculpting. Now, everyone so far in this line has received a 10 out of 10 on sculpting. Fortunately, I can't do that with this one just because of that, whatever the hell that is. So for sculpting, we are going to give her a good 8 out of 10. Still not bad, but probably the weakest of this line. Alright, checking out the paint. Again, pretty decent job, but once again, there's no paint wash or no black wash on here, and it's really kind of frustrating. All these characters are just super clean. I like a dirty figure. But so maybe I'll have to learn how to do some weathering myself and and learn how to do that. But for the paint that is on here, actually is really good as well. Again, you see up here where they sculpted in the details for the helmet and they got the paint in there. There's no mistakes, and that's a pretty small area. They do have some small details like here on the chest piece. This little kind of silver line. I wish that had been sculpted in there, but instead that just painted, so it does look a little weird. But the colors are nice. It's nice brown with the gold. There is a little mistake here where the paint kind of got off the line, missed the mark a little bit. But, you know, that's okay. But overall for the paint, really decent job. But again, there's no weathering. There's no... And it's just, it infuriates me that all these battle characters are so clean. Were they just sitting around at the laundromat waiting? Or they just all got out of the showers? I don't know. Anyway, paint is really clean on here, but there's no weathering. And when no weathering, I instantly take off at least a point or two for that. Just because we like to see that weathering on these characters. So, the paint that is on here, good skin tone. Nice lips for their lipstick up here. The paint is pretty good. What is on here is really nice. So we will give the painting a good... let's give it an 8 out of 10. Again, we're going to take points off because of no weathering. Alright, let's take a look at her articulation. Now, for the articulation for the head, I am going to pop the cape on here just because it does hinder it a little bit, especially with the cape and then the way her hair is sculpted here. So looking at her head, she can look back a little bit, which isn't too bad considering all that's going on here. She can bury her chin into her chest, which is good. She looks up. She's got this pretty good head tilt, and of course the swivel. Now if we take the cape off, you see she can look up just a little bit more. So you're going to have a little limitation with the head sculpt or the head articulation there because of the cape. The arms, they do have the hinge here. Now again, because mine has this, it doesn't go all the way down. But you can lift the arms up about that far. They do rotate around. There is upper arm rotation. Single jointed elbow, which only gets you to about right there. There is no lower arm rotation. Hands rotate and they both hinge in and out. Now she has the ball joint in the waist, which gives us that nice side to side movement, but not as much forward movement. So she can move forward about there, move back a little bit, I'm sure. There we go. Pop her out. And then, like I said, she does get good side to side and the twist. In the leg, she's got the pivot in there, so she can pull her leg forward that far. She can come back just a little bit. Now, this does get in the way of the articulation. But you see on the front, it has this slit here, so her leg can come all the way up. Coming out, she can get out to about yay far. Upper thigh rotation. Double jointed knees. Now again, this piece is going to get in the way, so she can get up there pretty decent, but that just looks really weird. No lower leg rotation. Foot that can come up that far, move back, and of course, great ankle pivot. So the articulation is pretty good. This, I may have to get my sander out and just kind of sand that off, see if I can get her arm all the way down there. So your articulation pretty good. Like I said, your head's going to be limited once you add the cape on there. But overall, a solid 8 for the articulation on her. Now, it would be nice if she can get forward a little bit more, but again, we trade off between either the abdomen crunch or the ball joint. But I would prefer the side to side. So for articulation, pretty good job. Price point, some Marvel Legends characters. It's going to cost you $20 here in the US. Pretty good deal. It's what we're used to paying. I don't see her price skyrocketing on Amazon or eBay or anything like that. I don't think she's a super sought after figure. So for $20, good deal. Get the hammer, get the cool cape, and of course you get the awesome Hulk Build-A-Figure pieces. So price point, 10 out of 10. So overall, pretty solid figure. A couple things that annoy me, but I think it's mostly just mine. You know, the thing under the arm that keeps her arm from going all the way back in, and the lack of paint wash. Well, you know, that's a Hasbro Marvel Legends things. But it's a pretty solid figure. Details look good on here. Some good paint for what is there. Nice, articulation overall. I do like that we get the hammer. Now you can see I'm cheating a little bit, and this is what's great about having a cape that stays on. So you can kind of use it as a tripod. Helps the character stand up, which is really nice. So overall, I'm going to have to give this figure a solid 8. I mean, it hits all the points that we want it to hit. Looks pretty badass, right? I think so. So an 8 for overall isn't bad at all. So, as always, head on over to exclucollective.com and check out a full picture gallery of this figure. And stay with us. We're getting really, really close to the Hulk Build-A-Figure. All right, see you next time. Peace.